were live earlier than Facebook. Now we're live on Instagram. Well, hello, everybody.
Hello. It is Monday Night Live.
With Dean and Kate Semmens.
I stole your thunder.
You did.
I
and
didn't
it was
even
good.
mean to. Got nervous.
I panicked. I panicked. Well, we're excited to be back on Monday Night Live, to be able to be on Facebook and Instagram. What a crazy, crazy cool opportunity. So excited tonight. We, again, Dean Nixon and Kate Semmens with Turningleaf Wellness Center here in sunny St. George, Utah. That's the southwest corner for those of you in the cold Midwest. Oh my gosh.
We were just complaining about how we feel like it's so cold here right now. And then perspective, right?
Perspective. Chicago snowed in.
Oh man.
And Michigan is like having ice storms. I mean, it's okay. We'll take it. I was in short sleeves today, so I'll be okay. But we're excited. Tonight we wanted to have the topic of sharing about stress and anxiety, being as we have a workshop on Friday here in Turning Leaf's office.
So we just put the event up on Facebook today. I didn't want to slam it out there over the weekend in case everyone missed it, because hopefully you were festivitizing with, I make up words, by the way.
A good word.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So check our Facebook page out. If you're tuning in on Instagram, go check us out. Just search for Turningleaf Wellness Center, and you can access how to join us this Friday through that event.
Yes. We're super excited, and hello to Allie and Sydney.
Hi.
Yeah, we're super excited about this event, and the reason that we wanted to put this one on is simply because we're heading into the holidays. We're heading into that time of year where we're mid-school year for parents out there dealing with their kids.
Absolutely.
We're mid-year for being the cold.
Yep.
I mean, we're in the cold, and we're heading towards summer, where
coming
most
in on
people
winter.
get to take a break, because usually go on summer vacations, and it's kind of the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is great to have the holidays. It is great to celebrate, but sometimes the holidays themselves can bring stress and anxiety as well.
Absolutely. In fact, I came in tonight and I was like, man, I'm so stoked for Friday because I am losing my mind already. I need a little bit of help managing my stress and anxiety. So I personally am really excited for the timing of this one.
Yes. Yes, it is going to be a good topic. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about it as some of the challenges that we face, and how we can look at stress and anxiety as an opportunity rather than a dread or something that we're consistently focusing on. And that's one of the things I find that we do the most is when we struggle with stress and anxiety, one of the first things we ask ourselves is what?
What's wrong?
What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me?
Exactly.
What's wrong with my life? And then we sit down and we start going through the checklist of all the things that are going wrong, or all the things that are wrong with us. And we get into that little tailspin, and we all of a sudden can, inside of us, have the little Eeyore wakes up, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Ooh, Eeyore.
Don't worry about me.
Thanks for noticing.
Thanks for noticing. And we get into that little Eeyore where we really start thinking we're the only ones out there suffering. We're the only ones struggling. We're the only ones hurting. And we start to really get lost in that piece, rather than recognizing that stress and anxiety is an opportunity.
Yeah, you said I've been just having that spin in my head since you mentioned it a minute ago. So I'm really excited to dive into that, because I love those perspective shifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of freaking out, hey, what can I learn here?
Right.
So tell me more, Dean.
So
got him off guard.
that you did. You totally caught me off guard. So
how do we do that?
How do we do that? How do we start seeing stress and anxiety as an opportunity rather than a what's wrong with me? And here's what we have to recognize. Stress and anxiety means that we are living beyond the moment that we're in. And a lot of times people will say to me, well, I don't know, where I'm at. I don't always feel like I'm within myself. I don't always feel grounded. I don't always feel within my body. I don't know who I am, and things of this nature. Well, this stress and anxiety, when it kicks in, that is a red flag. That's a banner going up saying, hey, you are not in your space. You are out of your body. You are out of your thinking process. You are beyond your scope of where you are. And we as human beings, we tend to overreach anyway. We tend to try and predict the future. We try to see what's coming up. And the whole time we're trying to avoid discomfort. We're trying to avoid feeling unhappy or miserable or sad or hurt or wounded or unloved. And we spend so much time focusing on those feelings as what we don't want, that's all we see.
Yeah.
And so because it's all we're seeing, we're not recognizing that we're overreaching into the next day. We're overreaching into the next hour. We're overreaching into the next moment.
That resonates huge with me.
Tell me why.
Yeah. Well, I just love the idea of if I start feeling stress and anxiety the way that I feel it, then I can like check myself like, okay, time out.
Yeah.
Am I in the now?
Am I in the now?
Yeah.
And if we're in that space, and we all go there because it's very human, but if you're in that space, that's the check. Yeah, I'm overreaching. Once again, I'm overreaching. And that's important for us to recognize. And so what we do is we start to use tools and we use skills. We're always talking coping skills. Yeah. That's a big push for us here at Turning Leaf, especially in the coaching side of things and the personal development side of things, is we're always working on coping skills. And so we start looking at what is anxiety and stress coming from. So what would you say? If I said, where does stress and anxiety come from?
Right now it feels like everywhere. But I definitely feel like my anxiety comes from when I start to like try to prep or control things. When I project into the future and try to navigate it so that it'll come out picture perfect.
Right.
And or like starting to feel anxious because I don't exactly know how it's going to happen and what I could possibly do to react. Like I'm trying to plan my reaction. Yeah. So that I'm appropriate.
So all of those things, and that's what's so cool about it, is every single one of those things that you were just discussing is based upon experiences of the past that don't even exist anymore. So all the things that hurt you, wounded you, affected you, they don't exist anymore. They happened, and they're real because they happened, and they are things that you can learn from, but they're not real anymore. They're not real in this moment. But we take the things from the past and we drag them into the moment now, and we start looking at those wounds, we start looking at those hurts, and we start asking ourselves, well, how do I prevent this? What did I do wrong? How do I control this? How do I keep this from happening? What did so-and-so think of me? What is so-and-so thinking of me? How do I control what they're doing? How do I control what their response is going to be? And as a consequence of that, we start to prep.
Yep.
And that's where the stress and anxiety comes from, is we're trying to control and we're trying to prep to control. Therefore, we're totally out of control of the moment that we're in.
That just reminded me, you gave me a book, what is it called? The Life Lessons of Chaos?
Yep. The 7 Life Lessons of Chaos.
And in there's a section where it talks about what is true.
Right.
And all that we can really define as what is true is right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And that's like what you're talking about. Like all the stuff in the past, it is an experience, and then you put like your own personal spin on what happened and your relationship with everything. And so what actually is true gets really muddy, right? All we have is right now. Yep. So I really like that. So are we going to go over this more on Friday? We're
going to go deeper into it on Friday. We're going to deploy more tools on Friday. So some of the things, and again, the workshop is what were the hours again?
6:30 to 8 o'clock.
So it's not as long.
Right.
So the Saturday workshops, we have a lot more time to really dive into things and really dig into things. So this workshop is going to be a little bit shorter, but we're going to really be hitting on topics such as controlling our focus, creating anchors, learning to live in the space that we're in, the mindfulness type of things that we can do that are really important for us to do.
Cool.
One of the things I want to remind everybody out there is, again, coping skills are not a fire extinguisher. right? We don't use them like a fire extinguisher. We pull them out when we're on fire. Coping skills is a practice. It's something that we practice every day so that when we are on fire, then we have the ability to control that. But we're not trying to pull it out while we're on fire and then try and figure out how to operate it. And that's what we do most of the time, is we don't exercise these things. We don't work on these things until we're in crisis. Then we're scrambling to find some type of coping skill. Well, we can't because we're on fire.
Right. It's time to stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll. I love it. Instead, we need to stop, drop, and roll. We're stop, drop, and roll. We can't even find a coping skill at that moment. So that's why we have to deploy them before we're on fire, and we start using them when the fire starts to heat up, and that's the whole purpose. And so we'll really be talking about the coping skills to help us through the stress and anxiety on Friday. But right up front, some of the things that we can do to help with the stress and anxiety is we can start working on overcoming the inability to stay in the moment we're in. Right? We've got to overcome that. We've got to stay in the moment that we're in. And it's so intriguing to me how much time we spend everywhere else. One of the things we talked about tonight in our group, in our support group, we spend so much time in every other venue but the venue we're in. And we spend time thinking about what's going to come later. We look at our calendar and our schedules for the day. We look at what's coming up in the week. We think about what happened last week, but we're not staying grounded in the space that we're in. So one of the first things that we can do, and for those of you out there on the other side of the glass window, as I like to call it, one of the things that we can do is we can start focusing on being in the space that we're in by tuning into some simple things like feeling the socks on our feet, feeling the clothes on our back, taking a deep breath and feeling our breath drawing in and expelling our breath, and really start to pull ourselves into the space that we're in. The more that we can dwell in the moment that we're in and the space that we're in, the more grounded that we become, the more we can let go of the need to control. Now, the reason we feel like we need to control is because we're not staying in the space we're in.
Because we feel like right now I'm out of control. So
right.
we need to get into control of it.
And the reason we're out of control is because we're living beyond our reach.
Right.
But if you realize, yes, good. Because if you realize that if you stay in the space you're in right now, like everybody watching, if you just stop for a minute and ask yourself this simple question: am I safe right now? Am I safe right now? And I would guarantee that everybody watching is going, yeah, at the moment I am safe. Like in this very moment, I'm safe. But you can't control what's going to happen in the next moment, so stop being there. You can't control what happened moments ago, so stop being there. Be in the space that's safe, and that's the space you're in right now. But we don't do that. And so we consistently are out of control and feeling out of control. When I feel out of control, the anxiety creeps up. Then I've got to go out here. I've got to grab stuff outside of myself to calm me or to ground me or to help me. I've got to phone a friend. I've got to get on the glass window. I've got to take something. I've got to eat something. I've got to snort something, smoke something, whatever I got to do. Buy something, shop. Yeah, Cyber Monday.
It is
Cyber Monday. You know, and sorry, those salespeople that are out there. I'm not trying to offend you. People buy their stuff. All I know is.
But do it when you're grounded and you're feeling good with yourself. Don't do it as a negative coping skill.
Right. But that's the reality is, instead of just being in the space that we're in and recognizing that right now I'm okay. Right now I am safe, and be in the space that we're in. If we stayed in the space that we were in right now, the majority of the time, we would be so much more grounded. We would be so much more peaceful and so much more resonating with who we truly are. So many times people are like, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. Well, the reason we don't know who we are is because we spend a good 60 to 80% of our day outside of our body. And if we spent more time, even if you increase that by 10%, even if every day you increase 10% being in your body, 10%, using tools and using techniques, using coping skills, it would change the game.
That is so cool. And like doable, right? Like you can't like go, okay, if I'm only in my body 20% of the time, tomorrow I'm going to be in my body 90% of the time, because that's not realistic.
Not very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge for anybody to be in their body that much. I mean, maybe Buddha was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people that are super zenny, that's cool.
Zenny.
That's a new word. You're welcome.
2 new words today.
But yes, we can increase it, and all we have to do is a little bit better today than we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
When we try to to hang on to things too long, that's when we suffer, and we've got to move forward. We've got to move forward.
Yeah.
So what did Laura say?
Let's talk about that long beard.
Laura, come on, man.
Laura. Thanks, Laura, for pointing
Thank you.
it out.
Yes, we could talk on Facebook for the Instagram. I just got a comment about, once again, the beard. Keep in mind, I already talked in other lives a while ago. This is not trimming until
2019.
2019.
Bringing in
So
the
it's
new
going to
year.
be a little bit longer. We were going to get a shirt, right? And we were going to mark as the grows. It's my winter wool.
Oh, I love it.
And so there you go.
So another reason, you guys, just really quick, because we have passed our 15-minute mark, because time flies when you're hanging with your homies.
That's right.
So another reason that we are doing the shorter workshops is we really want to make it accessible for everybody. We know that sometimes time is a huge factor. Like you've got a lot of stuff going on, and we are launching into that, you know, lovely magical time of the year.
Yes.
So it's just going to be an hour and a half. It's $15. And feel free to call in and reserve your spot. But if all of a sudden Friday night you're like, hey, I want to do this, please come.
Yep.
Please come on over and hang out with us. It will be so cool.
The more we can get head count ahead of time, the better. It
The
just
better.
always helps. So
I
that we
might
can
bring
make-
cookies. You just never know.
I'm putting that out there. That's got to happen. Yeah, that needs to happen.
Cookies and milk, Santa? Oh, you lined me up way too good
did
for
make
that.
too easy. I did. Oh. All right. Well, you're welcome,
that
everybody.
Was so funny.
Yes. So thank you for tuning in once again. It has been a pleasure to be here. Thank you to Kate the Great for making this stuff happen. She's so amazing. Those of you that are seeing all the things popping up in our social media, she has done a phenomenal job, as well as Sydney Walden, who is doing such an
Shout
amazing
out
job
to
for us.
Sydney.
Yes. Thank you for your continual support. Please like and share. Please like and share. It helps our reach get broader, and it gets people's information to people out there a lot more. So thank you all for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you again on Monday Night Live.
Have a great week.
Good night.